Hello, let's create a study guide for our music literacy test. First on the test are rhythms. Make sure you know what the rhythms look like, what they're called, the name, and how many beats. So let's create a chart. Feel free to pause this video at any time. The first thing we can put on our chart is the top, rhythm, name, and then how many beats. The first rhythm is this. What is that? It's a whole note equaling 4 beats. The second one, it's a rest. Remember, rest are rhythms as well. That's a whole rest that also equals 4 beats of silence. The next rhythm to draw is a dotted half note. That equals 3 beats. The next one looks very similar, but without the dot, a half note equals 2 beats. Then here comes another rest. That is the half rest equals 2 beats. So notice the difference between our whole rest, looks like an upside down hat, and our half rest, it looks like a hat the correct way. Then our next rhythm here is a quarter note equals 1 beat, and then a quarter rest. An easy way to draw this is just draw a Z and then a C, and you have your quarter rest. And then our last one, 2 eighth notes. Notice there's 2 put together. 2 eighth notes equals 1 beat. Remember, 1 eighth note would look like this, colored in, and then it has a little flag. That would be 1 eighth note. And then our last one here, those are 4 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That still equals 1 beat. 4 16th notes put together, beamed together with 2 beams, make sure there's 2 beams there, equals 1. Just like 2 eighth notes equals 1. So 1 eighth note would only equal a half, right? 1 eighth note would only equal half of a beat. 1 16th note, with these 2 little flags, would only equal a quarter, 1/4. So 4 fours put together, 4/4 is 1 whole. Rhythm is fractions. All right, let's go to our next slide. So here's an example of what you could have written. If you didn't draw your chart, I made my whole note and whole rest together equaling 4. So here's an example of how you could have created your study guide. You have your title at the top, Quarter 2 Musical Literacy Test Study Guide. The first part are rhythms. We have all the names there. Okay. All right, the next part of our test are the note names. So right now, if you read bass clef, so if you're trombone or euphonium and you read bass clef, here are the notes of the bass clef staff. Feel free to pause this so you can copy and write down the notes on the staff. And you are free to use your notes to answer questions on the test. So if you're making the study guide, you can use the study guide when you are completing your test. All right, so this is bass clef note names. This is our bass clef. It shows us where note F is. Looks kind of like a frowny face if you turn sideways. 2 little eyes here. This is note F. And remember, all of our notes go in order of our musical alphabet. So going forwards up the staff would be going forwards in the alphabet. Going down the staff would be going backwards in the alphabet. So you could have, let me go back. Yep. You could have written your notes like this. There's our treble clef and our bass clef. So our treble clef looks like kind of like a fancy cursive G. And here are notes of our treble clef staff. Treble clef staff is right there. And remember, these are called ledger lines. Okay, so feel free to pause. Write the notes of the treble clef staff. And then the next thing are symbols. The next thing are symbols in music.